Hi everyone, it's Adrian Leah. I am currently in a hotel. I moved out of my apartment and I am going through the process of moving overseas. So I am of the streets now. Well, I wanted to make a video. I'm flowing through the days, the energies, the signs. The sign for this reading is Capricorn. So welcome Capricorn. Welcome if you're another sign or if you have Capricorn in another part of your chart, welcome. I have a lot of channeled messages for this video. Um, Hopefully a lot of them will still be applicable and useful. I tried to do them at least every other day. Um, So the move kind of jumbled it up a little bit. So hopefully, again, it'll be of help to you. So I will be reading cards towards the end of the channel messages, but the whole video is the reading. So firstly, I heard the prayers. Um, like the Archangel prayer. I thought it was so amazing and um, they're definitely being heard. When I was moving the furniture, um, I took a picture of the back of the moving vehicle as you do, and when I took the picture the first time, I had a vision of people like in the back of a vehicle. And I saw the same thing again too, but I was driving on my way to work and I saw people in the back of the vehicle and it was like acknowledging energy. Like because I posted a mini reading today before work and um, I felt like an acknowledgement too that my videos were being listened to. Then the other thing that is one of the main messages of the reading is um, one of the main beings is like a being of the forest, and I got it multiple times, and it was the Vic. I hope I'm saying that correctly. Um, so there's different stories and interpretations of the being, but I was mainly getting it with forest energy and movement. I saw two planes that were really close to landing near forests, and I was thinking, are you moving more inland now, away from the water, or close to the the forest areas? Because I was also getting like the message the hills have eyes. And when I was passing through, because I was passing also eventually, I'm in an airport area, well, close to an airport area, and when I was passing the forest to get to the airport, um, I take a shortcut there, but don't say anything. I wasn't supposed to say that. Um, I got the vision of like thousands of eyes just looking at me. So maybe the forest has spotted you, because I'm not sure if you would spot the forest beings too. Um, there was like an awakening of those things, and it was like the creature being like the strange things that humans do. And I thought of what would the energy be. So today I was thinking about the least Vic, and I saw the vision of the being, and it looked like the branches kept growing, and they were growing at a fast rate, as you could visibly see it grow, inches at a time. And it gave me the indication that that land hasn't been touched drastically in that way. And um, I was wondering, I was like, these humans, can you help? And they, the Fae are, I feel like they have their own personality, especially with the forest and the sea or the water beings, because of course the angels have free will too. The fairies are definitely prone to having a little bit of trickster energy, which can be seen as maybe a little fun. Um, Sometimes it can be more harmful than other times, but it depends. So the Lisa Vic said, well, if they respect this land, then I won't pay them any mind, and they're free to be here. Then I said, um, would you be able to help? And again, then the response was, and what would be the reason? This, and I said, the humans love this land too, and it's being harmed by the opposing, those opposing them. And the response was, well, as being part of the Fae world, well, we're known for our tricks, so I'll offer inconveniences to their opponents. Maybe grow moss on the wrong side, get them confused, have things overgrown, for so they can't see the ones that respect this land, to keep them hidden from the opponents. Maybe the others will end up tripping or bumping into things that bring them those inconveniences. It's a little conditional. There used to be a little bit of intertwining with the stories of the these types of folk being, and it has become less and less. I think there's a yearning of wanting to revive those stories, and having those worlds intertwine again. So at the very least, I was getting that there was less stress than the last couple of readings, which is good, as less stress as you could get during these times. There's an interesting question on from since I did the last reading on, I guess, am I or not, I guess, am I um, real in a way, or um, me, because I talked about how my soul travels. So I am me. This is my face and my body, my voice, um, then my stories. I did hear an owl though when I got into this area. I am more of in a country area. It's kind of, well, this area is like pretty patriotic too. So it is giving colonial vibes, but it's uh, somewhere else to experience. So there's interesting visions, and they are pretty specific and specific. So again, with the bear and him being associated with that other energy that was there, that other energy gave me another vision a day ago, and this vision was a one of pure energy, pure light, which is specific because again it felt as if an angel gave that energy, so that angel has fallen because it's just such a, it's so pure. It's like a, it's like a cloud, the softness, the pureness, if you will. And then it said I could show visions of green pastures too. And then I said, okay, well, if you like to do that, then I'll be able to heal you too. And it didn't like that. So the vision of pure energy turned into just blackness again. It just all disappeared. So it does feel like there is a calling, um, challenging paths that you tread. Their arenas for personal growth. So to stay strong and to keep focus, to always focus. And again, as I was hearing prayers in the beginning, it was like 2 days ago when I was hearing those prayers, because it was one person, it was one saying it, and then I heard the prayer again, and I heard the prayer again as if it was being said in coming from different areas. So even if you are challenged with these things, it offers lessons of your abilities, so not to back down and to remember that you're fully equipped and a chance to prove strength. And to be self sustaining, so um, having that silent, humble confidence and not needing to seek any validation and having unyielding energy and yielding passion with these things. So, lastly, with the visions, there's one more, and this was another one with that energy because I actually saw the energy. It was interesting at first because it was like the light surrounding it, but then it was the blackness of the energy of the, and it was like a human figure in a way. Um, and that was the beginning of that cleansing. And um, in the vision, I did have holy water, and I touched the forehead, and it started having like the yellow was just so beastly. Um, it was a combination of different types of sounds or like screams, and um, I saw the angels fighting, and they wanted me to fight the other area while they were fighting on the battlefield. So I kept going, and I, in a way, I doused myself with the holy water because I had to kind of go for it. And at one point, the energy, it like grabbed my arm and it was like tighter and tighter. And I was like, um, saying, as please give me strength. And when I said that, it was almost like I was glass. In the glass, it, like my skin, it was shining with my pure light. Um, and so I was getting cleansing and I was getting water. Uh, and so I was being told to, I'm sorry, before this, because that that energy wanted me to keep me there. And I was like, I called on another spirit that I know, and then they said, get down. And it tried to like, the spirit tried to drag me out of that area. Um, so it's like, well, I gotta push through at this point because I have to do that to get past it. And at some point, it was like saying, just say the Our Father. And at first, I was like, I don't know if you want me to say that one because um, I wouldn't say I think I'm spiritual, but I'm also see things, I guess, in an academic perspective too. So it's like I hear a lot of times with exorcists, a lot of them they are given these types of jobs, and they're like, um, I don't want to do this job, and they're like, that's why we chose you, and you're like, oh, all right. So I said it, and it just sticks with you because when you go to private school your whole life, um, then you go to confession, they're like, okay, now that you said that, do your 10 Hail Marys and your Our Fathers. And I'm like, all right. Um, so after I said that, it was like, again, with water, the energy, it just disappeared. It like wasn't able to hold that area. And underneath it, because the first time I cleansed it like with the holy water with putting my hand there, it was like there's something underneath this energy. And I was like, is this a human that's underneath it? And then I did it the second time when I was saying that Our Father. And then it was the bear. And it was almost as if like you dragged them out of like the ocean or somewhere that had like water. And all of a sudden they're just like coughing up all a bunch of like water. Um, so I looked at the bear. I was like, okay, well, that's that. I will get out of this area. And I was told to say that Our Father again, to really push these energies um, out. And then I ended up in the shorelines of Norway again. And that time, you just had an appreciation because it was so serene. That after feeling so much chaos and then after feeling those things, it's like that's like the calming feeling that it had. So I'm going to start pulling cards. I don't have the boxes on me, and most of my cards are in storage. I was thinking I was thinking to considering selling some of the furniture, but honestly, I'll probably just get um like the people that pick up people's furniture like junk. I don't want to say junk like in a mean way, but it's like 1-800 junk or something. So so that will really clear my storage unit up because I won't be bringing that stuff when I move anyway. Sorry, there's a TV next to me, and one of the scenes it reminded me of like, oh, that now there's an ocean scene. As I was about to say it, it reminded me of like, baby turtles at the age where or when they're first born and they have to rush to get to the water, so they're not attacked or anything else. I would still be aware because, again, I saw an owl when I first got here. The new area, there's still those that have other intentions. Looks like there's going to be more movement. And it does seem like there's an exposure with the Five of Pentacles. I was also getting other specific messages too before this. Because with the bear and the saying and getting, this is a lie. And I'm like, what's a lie? And then the money. Like, what about the money? Of course, with political things, I would imagine that it doesn't go to everything that you would think it should go to, but there's something specific. And then there's like something, because the vision was again, as an example, there like the angel cloaking the being, the human, and because the other specific vision that I was getting, and I like to share these visions just in case because sometimes it's um like I get them and then I interpret them, I decipher them. Because one of it was like, well, what are they protecting? And then I got this, and then I was like, it's a paradox, isn't it? If you're doing that and then you're protecting, and then there's money. So, I'm sure it'll come up in the reading. But I also have for the feature the Chariot card. This one I am getting thought and memory. Not the birds on here, but there is one raven. So this money must be linked to what I said or what was associated with it in the past. Holes. Because there's the movie Holes, like it's a childhood movie and book in America. There's also the song for it too. You got to go dig those holes with broken something and weathered souls, emancipated for all you know. You got to go dig those holes. That's from the song. And they were looking for the legend of associated with a legend. There's a treasure. And the story has people that have been sentenced to do these labor intensive things instead of, I guess, going to jail. I don't know if it's community service or what have you. Sent them to a desert, sent them into a different area away from people to look for this treasure. And as I said that, the Four of Pentacles associated with treasure. Queen of Wands shows up twice in this reading. Could it be a family that he's protecting? There's a protecting energy, and then money put towards something that is irrelevant to what he would, I guess, supposedly put money towards. Bottom of the card is the Ten of Cups. So there was, say, this reading is full of visions that I had since I've last made this, made a video, because I was also getting a flag burning, but it um, wasn't the rabbit's flag. It's a different flag that was burning. And then I was passing the Capital One building, so I feel like it's associated with it. So maybe that's why there was like calm energy too. Because I also am still getting that the bear, even because I woke up today, um, and I heard about I it was on the TV screen. I don't really watch news, but about what is the inauguration? Target and what's in the sky, because the sky stands out to me in the star and in the Eight of Pentacles. That's helpful for the Seven of Pentacles because the Seven of Pentacles gives nurturing energy. It like waters the soil. Stuff from the sky. Because I was seeing helicopters too. Could it be a shipment? Or help? Now, is she going away from the tower or towards the tower? Because with the Queen of Wands here in the Tower card, I don't know what you call the thing that they use on the horses, but I keep getting like the energy like keep going, keep going, keep going. It could be the destruction because then you have the Eight of Wands with the things firing. Because you also have the two kings in this reading too, which I'm getting two separate energies. Sometimes I get like multiple court cards, like the Page, Knight, Queen, and Kings, and or pages, knights, queens, and kings. And sometimes they represent like the same person. There's actually three kings in here, but I'm getting two specific energies for that one. One energy for the Queen of Wands, and then the Knight of Swords is here too, which feels like they are knights for the king, one of the kings. Because with the King of Swords, it feels like they're holding back. Because the Knight of Swords, like the red is sticking out to me. And because the Knight of Swords and the King of Swords, they have red. It just feels like they're associated with each other, and then there's like the blue down here. So it kind of feels like the red cloaks the blue, or the red surrounds the blue, because the King of Swords has blue. But the capital one, and I felt that there was serene, like calmer energy lately. So I feel like the capital one. And then things are paying off with the Eight of Pentacles from the Seven of Pentacles, because there's the Seven and Eight of Pentacles. Because you're now seeing the results of what you put your energy towards. Things are becoming second nature. And even with the Five of Swords, this is good to have it in the obstacle position, because usually it feels the Five of Swords is like an oppressing card. So that means that it's not that energy that's being oppressed. And that's why I feel like the bear feels that they're on the losing side. The overall energy is the Queen of Wands. It was interesting because I was like thinking, how is the bear responding to the constant, um, I guess it's not communication, because at this point I feel that the bear tries to conceal, and it was using that energy to conceal himself. And then now that the barrier is broken, I'll be able to move forward and hopefully ask questions. Because at first I was getting that, um, the bear thinking as a, was it like an angel of death? That's what I was getting, and I was like, no, but whatever. And then now it's like thinking like more of a witch of some sort. So I guess those are the perceptions right now. Because the King of Coins, the King of Pentacles, doesn't want to let go of the things that he says belongs to him. It because like there's a belt here, and it reminds me of like, when you um win belts like in those sports. I don't watch sports, but I know that they do that for some of them. Um, it's like they wanted to keep their title. But it's so interesting because you have like all these things, and yet still seeing, because I'm still getting like pretty heavily that they feel like they're not on the winning side at this point. It might have to do with, because it, with the Five of Wands, with these inconveniences that happen for the bear, it's like the more inconveniences I have, the more time is running out. In the past, it's the King of Cups, which I feel can be associated with the King of Swords. There was like a serene, peaceful energy that comes from the past. Seven of Pentacles shows again. It looks like there's an emphasis, and you could believe it or not believe it, for taking care of your surroundings because it has a way of taking care of you too. At least that's what they actually teach you at, well, when I went to college and with my herbal studies. You grow the plants, you tend to them, and they tend to you too. With the Ten of Cups, the light bearers. Because it does look like there's multiple beings that are helping the King Rabbit. Or the Prince Rabbit. I said King Rabbit. Prince of 1,000 Enemies. Because it has the Seven of Pentacles and the Page of Cups. The Seven of Pentacles is a card of multiple too. Um, and it kind of reminds me of, like, I love cats. I used to have a ton of cats that I would take care of when I lived up in New England. And um, you give them food and they offer you like emotional support. It does feel like there's a heavy emphasis on I guess the value of spirituality and knowing that there are things that are at play and helping, um, that comes with having a strong morality and again an unyielding passion to have something that's so uncompromising, which some people might argue that that's not a good thing. But when you put so much focus and emphasis and power and energy to it, it really does play in life. Even with the Knight of Pentacles, there's just such a sturdiness to this energy because this knight, it just doesn't move. Like this knight could work at um, their phone company, just as an example, for what, 13 years. It's unyielding and it will stay and it will do this. And there is a sense of comfort. So, why do these things bring you comfort? And then there's contemplation. It is more methodical too. With the Knight of Pentacles, there again, it seems like there's just such an abundance on the rabbit's end. And I'm also getting, this was an interesting message because it was like the Ace of Pentacles here. And it was reminding me of really getting familiar, really knowing the opposing side, almost to a personal level, if you will. Because I feel like it could give you more power in that way too. Because we often push away things that we don't know much of. And so when you read about things, when you learn about things, um, like this saying, I guess, intimidation is a byproduct of unfamiliarity. So don't feel intimidated and stand in your power. I'll pull out a couple more cards. No, actually pulled from the Tarot of the Golden Wheel. And I was getting like from Spirit to say like, um, I'm everywhere, like I'm here with you. Well, I saw this card earlier. It's the Knight of Swords again. Because I feel like with this Knight of Swords, that also feels like it's associated with the bear. It's going through snow. And of course, snow is something that's familiar, but it's a inconvenience nonetheless. Because it does feel like needing to do multiple things that feels like it's taking so much longer than what it needs to in order to get done. It's kind of how it felt sometimes, like when I was moving, because when I was moving, um, it felt like there was one obstacle after another obstacle after another obstacle. That's what I feel like the bear feels. It's more tedious. And then there's this one saying that I was getting in the beginning of the reading, like I will not buy the record. It's not scratched. It's from a video. Is that where the lie comes from? Because the lie is like it's a book of phrases that don't really mean what they say. So is the bear saying what it doesn't mean? And that's where the lie comes from. And that's where it is, because I do have the star card here. And that since the person is in the water, it looks like things resurfacing and daylight breaking. Page of Cups in this deck too. And it looks like there's a willow tree above the person. With the Knight of Cups too. So there's actually, well, there isn't the Queen of Cups here. Because the willow reminds me of, again, Grandmother Willow in Pocahontas, where she goes to her for advice. And it does give a boost of like reassurance too. But then Grandmother Willow is like, she gives you this advice, and then she knows that you had to push forward with it. Because it's interesting, because I feel like they all represent another energy, and then the Queen of Cups represents another energy. Because the magician shows up, and the magician is supposed to be of all the elements. And if you will, it kind of reminds me of like the Empress and the Emperor, how they're embodiments of like the Queens and Kings. Um, so it's like you have like technically a missing link, but then what makes up for it is like the willow. What makes up for it is like the help that you're getting. Then you have the Empress here. So it's saying the embodiment of things. So the Wheel of Fortune, oh, the Queen of Cups does show up in the reading now. So these are all the court cards for the cup suit, alongside with the Wheel of Fortune. Because with the Wheel of Fortune, it does feel like some days might be more challenging than others, but again, the challenges are arenas for personal growth and to stay focused. And then it gives you lessons and that you do have enough to be unshakable and one of the biggest things, to every disadvantage to every disadvantage holds an advantage, or to every disadvantage holds an equivalent advantage. And also to hold up a standard when you're doing this too. And if you need to, and if you're able to take your time, because that'll allow you to make things how you want them to be. You see, well, I see that there are drop spindles in this card that they have. And so preparing your fiber like that, it is a tedious process. And with the Queen of Cups, there's a swan here too. And it reminds me of like when swans, they hold their babies like inside their wings. So that does feel like a cloaking energy too. And she does have a cloak. So there is like a sense of protection on that end. And you get that from the Empress too. And that could be methodical and like making your future how you want it to be. That preparation, because she's like painting onto what looks like um, what would be a child or a nesting doll. And then I'll pull from this deck and I'll end the reading. And thought and memory does come in this reading too. Because the Page of Pentacles here has Hugin and Moonin with the birds. And at the Five of Wands, it's interesting because I did see a bear as I did see a bear. I did, well, in another way. But I saw an owl, or I heard an owl, I'm sorry. And then there's the rabbit and the owl here. But there's a distance there. And then there's a being that shields the rabbit, although the rabbit is equipped too. Because it does seem like there's protection surrounding that rabbit because there's the crystals and then the looks like the wands that have the crystals on top that surround it with the ribbons, and then even thistle. It's in the tall grass too, so it's not being seen. And the church mice, they're resting with the Four of Swords. The ones that were fighting and that ended up getting hurt. Some of them, oh, that's a bat, but I was getting mouse. They're healing. I was also getting like irritation, as if like a wound is healing and it's just irritating you. Then the Six of Wands, because you get from the 5 to the 6 at least for the rabbit's end. And those things around their eating, where the being or the helpful energy just aids. And it has different ways of seeing or perceiving or sensing things than like the cat there than a human does. It's more heightened in just different ways. And I get this with the Queen of Wands and the Knight of Wands that um, the energies are associated with each other too, as if it's like one energy or one person. Because there is something more um, primal about this energy with the Queen of Wands and the Knight of Wands. Like a wildness that comes out of it. And in a way, it does feel like she puts fear into fear itself. And it feels like protecting what's hers. And then like the wildness and protecting what's hers, and it's like to not get in her way if something comes across and tries to hurt those things or that person that tries to well, that is hers. Then the last card is the Ten of Wands, the Journey. So at the Ten of Wands, you see, well, there's the cat and dog that's on the open bag, and there's a compass, and then a cross, and feeling led to go somewhere. Sorry, I just wanted to. And then the Queen of Cups. And it's interesting with that Queen of Cups, it kind of feels like energy of, I'm going to keep doing this. Um, I might complain along the way. I might get upset. I might get um, sad or going on to this journey because of doing things that are more of like obstacles. But it's to keep going because it builds the character in it. There is a sense of love that's there that really fuels that energy. And she also, like, I feel like it's associated with the Knight of Pentacles having the resources to do that. So, thank you guys so much for watching. Um, I hope it uploads quickly. I'll see you in another video. Bye.